Hey guys, today I've got another sketchbook portrait in graphite. Portraits are my favorite thing to do, and with trying to get ready to do commissions, I've really been wanting to practice my shading and my overall look and experimenting with different techniques. One thing that I've always struggled with is getting graphite dark enough without the shine, and I know that with using graphite there is always going to be some amount of shine, but I find it really distracting, and if there's a lot of it, it kind of makes me feel a little bit like an amateur. Using fixative can help take away some of that overall shine, and there are different kinds of pencils like carbon and charcoal that can help you get your darks dark and they don't get shiny. The problem with that is that there's a definite difference with each of these pencils, the way that they lay down on the paper, and it takes some practice to get the right blend of graphite or charcoal without the two clashing on the paper. For this specific drawing, I wanted to see how well I could do with just the graphite pencils. In some future drawings, I will be using different mediums to see how I can keep the soft look, yet still be able to get the contrast that I want, and hopefully eliminate most of that shine. Another thing that I've been struggling with lately is motivation. I've been having health issues lately, so when I sit down to draw or paint, I find myself rushing through a piece, and in the end, I either don't finish or I hate what I put down on the paper. Both of these are kind of having an effect on me, and it makes it hard to want to get a drawing done when you're really doubting yourself and your abilities. In the end, I just had to suck it up and get it done. I had to keep reminding myself that this is really what I want to be doing with my life, and that's making art and making art videos. And the only one who is going to be able to make that happen is me. So even when I'm sick or I'm busy, I need to take the time to make the time to sit down at my desk and just get these pieces out. No one else is going to draw these for me, so it's really up to me to make my goals happen. Just keeping that in mind can be a major motivation. You just got to give yourself that kick in the butt because no one else will. There are always going to be drawings or paintings that you're just not happy with, but I know that with every bad drawing or painting, there's a chance to learn what I would do different next time. I would rather that I finish a drawing that isn't the best and I know what to do or what not to do next time than to have a pile of unfinished work bringing me down and just not growing as an artist at all. One of the things that helps me get through a drawing, especially when I'm tired and it's a little repetitive or tedious, is music. Just like working out or cleaning, having some music in the background can help keep you upbeat and lifted up. Lately, I've been listening to a lot of rock and alternative, and that always helps bring my energy level way up. Another way to push through these pieces is just to simplify it. You don't have to do an entire work of art every time. Do a smaller crop like the eyes or a smile, or do something that you don't normally do, like paint a simple little still life. There are so many different techniques you can practice by drawing or painting a simple piece of fruit. You're going to be learning and being able to knock out a piece a lot quicker than if you try to do a big piece with a bunch of difficult elements, especially if you're already struggling with just finishing anything. If you find yourself rushing through a drawing, that's when you really want to step away. I know it can be hard to just lose patience and rushing through just because you've been working on it for hours already and you just want to be done. I can honestly say I'm guilty of that all the time. Like with most portraits, I get done with the one part of the shading in the face or doing the eyes, and by the time I get to the hair, I am always tempted to just rush through and finish. The thing is you can always tell when you do that. On this piece in particular, once I finished the left side of her hair, the right side I kind of did rush through, and I can tell the definite difference. My reference photo showed her hair is really dark, and there wasn't a lot of definition to it, so I thought, alright, I'm just going to get these sections that I can see down and get it as dark as I can, as fast as I can. And it showed. I'm not happy with the right side of her hair, especially at the top. At the top, though, it was kind of my own fault. Instead of rotating the paper around because I was recording, I didn't make it more comfortable for my hand. It felt really forced, and because of that, it definitely looks forced. And don't get me wrong, I'm not in any way trying to complain. I'm just saying that there are a lot of simple fixes that you don't really think about as you're doing it that can really bring down the quality of your drawings, but they're so easy to fix. Right here, I didn't realize that I was drawing a lot of the piece out of frame, so I promise I will work on making sure what I'm doing is actually on camera. I'm super sorry about that. Another thing I didn't really notice until I was editing the video is that the shine from the graphite is really noticeable in this video, and I should have adjusted my camera so that you could still see what I was doing without all the glare, and I promise to work on that too. But back to the drawing, I had gotten most of the face blocked in, and I had an idea of what I was doing, but without the darkness of her hair, I was having a hard time judging how dark I needed to go on the face. When you've just got the shaded skin butting up against the white of the paper, it can seem like you're going too dark or that it's just right, and then you add in the darker parts and you can see that you are nowhere near where you needed to be. It's one of those things that takes a little bit of time to get right, but after a while, you start getting the hang of going back and adjusting as you go. In all of my drawings, I try not to finish or think that I'm finished with any part of the portrait because I don't want the drawing to be so worked that it's hard for me to adjust if I move on to another part and realize that I went too dark or that it's not dark enough. It's a little bit easier with graphite than colored pencil, but all the same, I like to leave myself a little bit of room to work with. It's all a layering process anyway. With the skin, I don't want to go in super dark straight away like I would with the hair. I lay down some color in the shading, I blend it out, rinse and repeat. The softer blending is going to happen with the layers and slight adjustments with each layer. I really force myself to be patient with the skin because all of the shadows that are cast or the highlights are all always there for a reason. And it's all about the structure of the base and the overall shapes. If you move any of the shadows to where they shouldn't be, you're either going to be making a really wonky looking face or change the way that they look entirely. It's a really important part of getting an actual likeness of who you're trying to draw. As you can see in all of this video, I'm not just using one method of blending, I'm using all kinds because each one gives a different effect of what you're trying to do. With something that's a little bit more defined and I'm not worried about it being too soft, I'll use the blending stumps or the tortillions. For the skin where I want a broader, smoother area, I use the tissue just to get a nice soft blend. For more defined areas that I still want to be kept soft, I use the Q-tip. You can also use brushes as long as they're soft, kind of like makeup brushes or watercolor brushes. Those work really well too. Every time you blend out an area, just try to keep in mind that blending will lighten it up, so you have to keep coming back through and darkening as needed, remembering that you don't need to press hard with your pencils. Blending it out also takes out any definitions or clean lines, so you have to come back through and adjust those too. As long as you're keeping a soft hand and not doing any dark lines, it's going to help keep your piece looking realistic. You want your shadows to be gradual and there shouldn't be any harsh lines. One way to get better at that is to practice your shading. You can do spears or simple shapes, just practicing how to get a gentle gradation of shadows and focusing on how to make things more rounded and even shading. You also have to keep highlights in mind. Sometimes when you blend, you can darken parts that needed the highlights, so it's always good to come back over it with an eraser and gently lift those highlights back up. With the hair, I always try to leave some highlights to show direction, but it really depends on the color of the hair or how dark the reference photo is. For the highlights, I try to leave them alone at first and not put any pencil down on them because when I come through to blend, it's going to grab some of the graphite from the other areas and just softly cover those highlighted areas so they're not stark white like the paper. And almost all hair, there's not going to be bright white hairs anyway. After I blend it out, I like to come back with a smaller eraser, and in this one I use my Tombow mono eraser, and I usually trim it with an X-Acto knife so that it's nice and flat and has a nice sharp edge, so that I can get those skinny lines a lot easier. If you've gone too heavy-handed with the pencil though, it's not going to pick up much. It only works well if you've just softly built up your layers instead of coming through and basically burnishing the paper. On her neck and shoulders, I went through with an H pencil and lightly covered the entire area, blended it out smooth, and then I came back through and darkened areas that needed darkening and lifting out the highlights on the collarbone and shoulder. Once I got that as dark as it needed to be, I realized that I still hadn't gotten the base to the darkness that it needed to be, so I came back and lightly went over the entire face and then I blended that out again. Once I was done with the skin, I was able to bring all of the loose hairs down, and I really think that helped bring a nice finishing touch. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this drawing. I just wish that I could have avoided a lot of that shine. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to hit the subscribe and the like button. I hope you're having an awesome day, and I will see you next time.